Hello, everyone, back tuning in to the 17th Christmas update. So we started the updates on the 1st of November. We did the first update on the 1st of November, and we've done updates for Christmas virtually every other night since then. We're up to update 17 now. Most of the updates that we've done this year have been pretty cold. Certainly having some cold around the Christmas period, whether it's before or over or after Christmas. Most of the updates we've done this year have been quite cold. But the last update, the 16th, was a very mild one. It was Atlantic driven all the way. And I think caused a little bit of disappointment. We'll see what the 17th update has to say in a moment. Before I get on with that, just to say about the ads, there's links to articles on all the pages. Have a browse, visit, click through the links. If there's any articles that you're interested in, you'll be having this page, website. Thanks very much for doing that. Christmas shop remains open, so you've got any Christmas shopping to do at Amazon between now and Christmas. Click the green button that says Christmas shop, and then from there go through the Amazon banners, do your Christmas shopping as normal at Amazon, because you've gone from Gaz Service to Amazon weekend review on the things that you are buying. And a big thank you to everybody for doing that. Been a huge success again this year. You've still got time to get those presents out to you, but don't leave it too much longer, because we are getting well into December now, of course, and big thanks to everybody. So we're still using the long-range CFS V2 9-monthly forecast at the website mrseal.fr. We won't be using it for much longer. The GFS is up to the 21st of December, the very end of its run now. So another 2 or 3 days, it'll be again to Christmas, and over the weekend it should get the full Christmas period coming through. And at that point, we will move from the CFS to the GFS, and we'll start trying to pin down the actual pattern for Christmas. What we've been doing so far, really just a bit of fun. But when we get within the GFS time frame, then it gets a bit more serious, because we have to start actually doing forecasts for Christmas, as opposed to just these updates where we're looking at the CFS V2 and the broad trends. So not much longer before we move from CFS to GFS. But nevertheless, this update is still using the CFS 9-monthly forecast. It's the midday run generated midday yesterday on the 5th of December. Of course, we use a midday run for no particular reason, and that's one I pick out. But we always try and use the same run all the time, then we can't be told off if cold charts appear. We're not cherry picking, just the way that the charts are coming out. So with that said, we're going to start off on the 13th of December, and this is what the latest update is showing. So 13th of December, we've got a ridge of high pressure in across central parts of Europe. Looks mostly dry, probably quite cold and frosty under this ridge of high pressure. We move out beyond that to the middle part of the month. This takes us to the 15th of December, and high pressure really dominating. It's stretched there from Eastern Europe through Central Europe into the UK. It's also beginning to move out towards the Atlantic as well. So a big area of high pressure there mid-December, cold, dry and frosty. What happens is that we send that high pressure out to the north and west of us. So this is retrogression by the 17th. We've got high pressure developing out to the northwest of the UK, and the flows begin to come round from the north. So that's starting to bring colder air down from the north and the northeast, possibly a few wintry showers possible with that. It's not a deep Arctic source there, but it is fairly chilly air that's coming around the top of that high pressure. Now we move that further north and west on the 18th, and it starts to head up towards Greenland and Iceland as low pressure begins to develop across central parts of Europe, putting in cold east to northeasterly winds. Those could be bringing snow showers onto the eastern side of the country. So we've broken away from the 16th update, which was very mild Atlantic driven. This one is looking a lot colder yet again. And we move up towards the 19th, so getting on towards Christmas, and it's staying cold there. High pressure's out to the west, bringing this easterly wind in across the south. That could bring snow showers there, but it just looks generally, for most of us, dry, frosty and cold under this ridge of high pressure. Running further on towards Christmas then, and high pressure still out to the north and west of the UK. The winds up to the 22nd of December are still coming from the north and the northeast, so that continues cold conditions, and we're bringing more snow showers onto the eastern side of the country. And a lot of dry weather, but very frosty, very cold, and I think there would be snow showers with those northeasterly winds coming into the east. Then we go up towards the 23rd, and it stays cold, and we actually drop an area of low pressure down the North Sea as we run through towards Christmas Eve. So that would take snow showers into the northern and eastern part of the country. Maybe a little bit of more persistent snow possible for parts of Scotland and North East England from this area of low pressure that is just to our east. Still looks cold for all of us. This is how Christmas Eve is shaping up then. It's a cold one. There's high pressure out to west. There's low pressure to the east. The winds are in from the north. So will obviously be cold. There'd be very frosty conditions night and morning, probably barely above freezing by day with the temperatures, and still the risk of snow showers on the eastern side. Christmas Day builds a ridge of high pressure through the country, so not much snow, but it would be cold. There'd be some quite severe overnight frost, I would have thought. And again, temperatures by day probably struggling to get above freezing. So that looks a cold Christmas Day with a lot of frost around. Of course, there could be snow from those earlier easterly and northerly winds on the ground. Boxing Day rounds it off the actual Christmas period, looking cold and mostly dry. Low pressure is trying to come up from the southwest, introducing milder air, so that could be threatening a little bit of snow to the southwest, but generally it's still just cold, frosty and dry there for Boxing Day. And that dry and cold weather continues for the 27th as well, which I believe is a bank holiday. So all the days, you see Christmas Day, Boxing Day and the 27th of December looking dry, cold and frosty. Now beyond that, we find the high pressure clinging on into the 28th and the 29th. There it is. So it keeps it cold through running up towards the new year. Lots of frosty conditions. Again, mostly dry. Hardly any snow would be falling with this, but it would be very cold. Nothing has happened to stir up the air, so very cold and frosty there as we run out beyond Christmas up towards the new year. And then we go up to the new year and we start to see a bit of a change. That high pressure begins to slink away down towards the southeast of Europe, and milder westerly winds start to return. So this is New Year's Eve, when it's still very cold for England and Wales, dry and frosty. For Scotland it's turning milder with outbreaks of rain coming in off the Atlantic. And that trend continues into the start of 2017. This is New Year's Day, where we're bringing westerlies through the country. That's much milder, with rain and wind probably crossing the country, and, well, big increase in the temperatures there for the first day of 2017. And then we continue through the first week of January. It looks much more unsettled. Then suddenly the westerlies are back. They're breaking through, and it's turning very unsettled with strong winds and outbreaks of rain. Through that first week of January, we do start to build pressure to the south again, and to the east of us. So it doesn't take long before we start to try and block these Atlantic areas of low pressure. But generally, that first week of January looks mild and quite unsettled, and at times fairly windy as well. So it's another cold one. Obviously what happened with the 16th update, where it's very mild Atlantic driven, it hasn't carried on through to the 17th. This one is looking a lot colder again. And certainly there is the potential here for cold weather. I feel fairly confident in saying that. There's the potential for cold weather either before, over or after Christmas. The key question is whether we're going to realise that potential, and we won't know that until much closer to the time, because the atmosphere, obviously this year it's set up in a way that could deliver cold conditions, but all it takes is a slight increase in the jet stream or something to throw a spanner in the works, and it won't come off. So whilst the atmosphere, I think this year it's more set up to delivering us cold weather sometime around the Christmas period, doesn't necessarily guarantee that that's what's going to happen. But it remains a very interesting period for sure, and as I say, very shortly we will be moving on to the GFS, and then we'll have to start thinking about getting the actual pattern for Christmas, and then doing, of course, the actual forecast for the Christmas period. Right, that's all for now. The next update, which will be the 18th update, will be on Thursday evening. Be very interesting to see which way that goes. So come back for the next instalment on Thursday. That's all for now, and thanks for watching.